I'm Lisa Knighton. I'm the CEO of At Home Be Fit, a company I started several years ago. My colleagues Cinzia Sarigu and Caroline Gaskin are also here with me. Welcome to our event to discuss the Embodiment Course. Thank you for your attendance and for your interest in our program. Let's do a little etiquette before we begin our meeting. We're recording the meeting, and we'll share it around afterward. Feel free to leave your camera on or feel free to turn it off. We do ask that you mute yourselves right now, please. During our presentation, we invite you to ask any questions in the chat box. So as we go along, the chat box is there for you. Jot down anything that comes to mind, and we'll spend a few minutes at the end of our course today going over the questions and hopefully answering all of those for you. We'll get to those. The event today is 1 hour. And before you relax and sit back and we talk about the course and our specialties, please, it might be a good idea if you'll close your other applications so that you will not be distracted. It is my deep pleasure to be part of this endeavor with Caroline and with Cinzia. The three of us are excited to introduce the Embodiment Course to you. We've designed a powerful 4-month course and experience, and we know you're eager to learn a little bit more. Cinzia, will you please begin with an opening prayer for us?
Of course, Lisa, thank you very much. Okay, everyone, welcome to our free event, and it's very exciting to see you all from wherever you're calling in. And we're going to be starting with an opening prayer with a very brief meditation. So I invite everyone to close your eyes, make yourself comfortable. Okay. And we begin by taking a very deep breath together. And again. And one more. And feel free to continue to breathe deep if it helps you to relax, to come into your inner space. Whether it's morning and you're starting your day, whether you had a very long day, it always helps to breathe deep and relax and release any distraction from the outside world. And so we breathe deep and slow. Breathe deep and slow into that liminal place where your heart resides and your dreams awake. Breathe deep and slow to relax and release any tension. Breathe deep and slow to give yourself the gift of time. And so as we continue to breathe deep, to relax and release and expand, to bring our awareness to this present moment, we can open sacred space together. And so we call in Spirit. We call in Spirit in its beautiful manifestations of love, kindness, and compassion. We call in Spirit from all the directions that are connected to the elements of nature, from the heart of the sky, from the heart of the earth, to receive that light, to receive that beautiful love, to be present in our heart, to be open to the gifts that await us. We call in Spirit from the 4 cardinal points, from the 4 corners of the world. We call upon the spirit of the sacred fire to nurture our inner fire, to give us strength and hope, to warm our heart with many blessings. We call upon the spirit of the wind to clear our mind of any worries, to give us clarity, and to help us walk light upon our sacred earth. We call upon the spirit of the sacred water to wash away all pain, to nourish our dreams, to restore joy and vitality, and to connect us to the moon that is preparing to darken herself and open up to many possibilities. We call in spirit the spirit of the land where we stand, and the spirit of the land of our ancestors, wherever they are from. So we connect to that deep root within ourselves, within our culture, within our collective culture, as beings, as living beings, related to all other species and all other nations, so that we may feel their presence, so that we may feel our place in the world. We call in spirit from within ourselves and all our guides, teachers and helpers, and the spirit of our ancestors once again, so they may be with us to celebrate this moment of coming together and sharing. And we call upon the spirit of the moon once again. There is opening up new pathways and new possibilities this week, so that we may explore new horizons, new ways of being within ourselves and in the world, new ways of flowing through the tides of our emotions, new avenues for learning, for growing, and for becoming more and more empowered as we embrace the full colors of our journey, as we honor our experience and our story, and as we open up to create community in this space. So I invite you to place your hand on your heart and feel the beauty of this moment of simply being alive, breathing and feeling, and being in this space of peace and quiet for a few moments. And as we tune into the energy of this course that we're presenting, we bless your heart, for it holds all the answers and it knows what's right for you, so that you may find your place within this gathering today, so that you may feel nurtured, held and supported, and so that you might take home something precious, something useful, even if you decide to take another path. It is still a pleasure and an honor to be here all together. And so we give thanks to Spirit for bringing us together, for opening this space, for opening this sacred circle. And we take a deep breath. And we can open our eyes again.
Thank you, Cinzia. Thank you very much. All right, now let's hear some more details from the three of us, your three teachers. Caroline, would you like to share a little bit about what you have planned and about yourself as well? You're muted, Caroline.
Thanks, Lisa.
Sure.
So I'm going to do a little screen share. Thank you, Cinzia. That was so beautiful. Had to mute myself so that you didn't hear my breathing. So let me just share a screen from, here we go, a little PowerPoint. So I decided to do a little PowerPoint for this part purely because I do use PowerPoints as part of my work. And let's just flick back to the beginning, a little bit about me. So some of you I know, and welcome to those of you I don't know. But I got into homeopathy, which is the main practice in terms of my health practice, through having my children. And we chose a home birth. And I was a relatively young mum. Sometimes people don't believe my age. I'll let you find out what that is. And we ate home cooked food. And I decided to write these things because they really inform my health choices now, and have informed my health choices for, over 35 years. We filtered our water. I took up yoga when I was pregnant with my son, and that stayed with me as a touchstone for stress throughout our sort of young family life and into more adult life in terms of my kids, and into my practice. And I read books about child-led parenting. So all of this I wrote just to give you an idea about where I come from and what I bring to this space. So when they went to school, I took a foundation course in homeopathy. It had soon become our sort of medicine of choice in the family. And I went on to study holistic massage, anatomy and physiology, because I wasn't really taught that very well at school, as many of us aren't. And so much of my teaching now is sometimes, it seems quite basic to learn about our hormonal cycles, whether we're male or female. And these are things that I feel we should be taught about, but we're not in our mainstream schooling. So at some point, my partner and I separated, and I didn't know whether to put that as a prefix, sadly, my partner and I separated, or as a suffix, my partner and I separated, sadly, because it's a big thing to take up single parenthood. But, at that point, I kind of made it up as I went along. I've never really worked within mainstream employment. I've always been a creative within my work. So I was running after school art classes, created a booking system for yoga and massage teachers. And all of that kind of informed my practice now, because I didn't know it then, but I was laying the foundations for my future practice. And then I started homeopathic training in earnest, the part-time course with Robert Davidson, having gone into that hoping to do the full-time course, but circumstances, separation meant that I took up a part-time course. And now while I'm teaching that same part-time course at another college, I recognize what it takes to make deep transformational change in your life, and the effort that takes, but the support that's required for that. I'm just going to move the little toolbar because it kind of floats around here and gets over my PowerPoint. And then when I was there, I worked in PR for complementary health. So while I was training, I worked in PR for complementary health. And back then, that was a relatively difficult thing to do, because most of the PR work was in mainstream medicine when it came to health. So I was very lucky to be able to promote natural health, complementary health, particularly for childbirth options. And again, that really informed my practice. And in 2000, I started my practice as a homeopath, and I gradually added other health paradigms in. And that's the kind of thing that I'll be sharing on the course. So not just homeopathy, but as you can see in the top left-hand corner there, a bottle of Calm and Clear, which I offered Cinzia earlier on. And I offered Cognis essence as well, and put it in my own water. These are Australian bushflower essences that I work with to keep clear and focus throughout, So there are wonderful tools that we can use within the natural health sphere, but we just need to learn about them. And in 2001, I met Cinzia at my drop-in clinic. So you can tell we've been friends for a very long time. And I've taught at places like the Institute of Nutrition. I speak on podcasts, I write, have my own workshops and masterclasses. And I also, like Cinzia, run retreats. So looking to natural analogies, nature analogies, I feel like I was born interested it's one of the things I say most often. That's interesting. And I loved reading as a kid. I drew from age 2. My earlier career was in fine art textiles. So I'm going to bring some perhaps drawing in, but certainly putting a pencil onto a page and exploring what really is our medicine. And I love to share that natural health knowledge that I've gathered. I often feel like I've got a basket on my arm and I'm moving through the world gathering information to disseminate at some point. And sometimes you'll literally find me on Hampstead Heath, which is pictured on the left-hand side, gathering herbs and making salves, which I bring into my practice. So like Cinzia, I've studied permaculture. And so I bring in that kind of analogy of life and my practice being a garden that needs nurture at whatever level I'm working at. And my sessions on the course are really about, and I hesitated to put this word in, diet, nutrition and lifestyle, because dieting, self-consciousness about one's figure is so much part of a woman's journey. And then a male journey, it generally is about strength, fitness, how does one appear in the world? And yet attention to diet, attention to exploring food, as I like to, elementally, and what is that, not just its nutritional value. We can be very reductionist these days and say, I need, this amount of protein, that amount of carbs in order to get through the day, or I've got to trim back on carbs in order to reach some kind of goal. But actually understanding food elementally and connecting with the natural world is much more realistic and much more of a sort of lifelong practice. I like to share and so that we understand what we're up against in the 21st century, i.e. environmental toxins. And I'm really into supporting others into fertility, longevity, optimum health. And I believe and practice myself and encourage others to achieve that through low cost, low environmental impact health choices. So that's very much what I share and where I share from. So over the 16 weeks that we're together, I'll encourage you to take up simple, measurable, achievable self-care practices. And the joy of a course like this is that you can put things into practice and share your experience. And what I find in this kind of course space quite often is that, half the course will put into place these practices, and the other half of the course will say, wow, I think I better be doing that. It sounds great, so we measure things. How is it for us? And that bit at a pace that is right for you is really important, because it's taken me many years to take the steps, and I'm still taking steps towards, that fulfillment, that optimum holistic place. We'll do some writing exercises, as I've said, to take the pencil for a walk on the page to discover what truly is your medicine. And it is unique to each of us. And what I'd love you to go away with from the course is a self-care health program just for you. So we've got time for questions later, so I'm going to stop there and hand over to Cinzia.
Much, Caroline. Cinzia, are you ready to share with the group?
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so once again, welcome everyone. It's wonderful to be here with all of you. My name is Cinzia. I'm originally Italian, but I left my country in 1995. And since then, I lived in England, I lived in Mexico, and for short periods of time, I also lived in other countries. So I hope you forgive my funny accent. Nowadays, I travel most of the time, so you may see me with a very different background every time. I learned about shamanism from medicine people in Mexico, mostly, so my shamanic practice has strong foundations in the Mayan and the Toltec tradition. I love the pragmatic approach that Mexican healers have to spirituality, because for them, it isn't something relegated to the weekend or to a morning meditation. It is actually woven into everyday life and experienced at 360 degrees. I used to assist traditional doctors, which are commonly called curanderos or sanadores in Mexico. And I was always fascinated by how they merge science and the supernatural in a very organic way, with great humility, with great passion, and with great care too. Always meeting the person with a deep understanding of the human condition, and also with a smile on their face. So, and all of this inspired me, it inspired me in my personal and in my professional life. And it resonated a lot with my own relationship with spirituality, which was never an abstract place somewhere out there, but right here with me, and with the people around me, and in the body, spirituality incarnated, embraced, embodied, in our connection to nature, and in the sacredness of all living beings. And that's what I love to share with others as much as I can. So I've now been teaching healing methods and modalities and shamanic practices for over 20 years. And what I do is to help people bring together what the Mayans call the heart of the sky and the heart of the earth, to merge spirit and matter with simple, accessible practices. So I don't teach from a book. I usually open sacred space and allow spirit to weave and to move within the circle and within the person. And this helps us to make spirituality relevant to wherever we are on a journey, with no right or wrong, but simply listening to what's already there and bringing it forward so that we may have a positive impact on our life, on our community, and ultimately on the wider community on Earth. So you might be wondering, what are we going to do in the shamanic classes on the Embodiment Course? We create a sacred circle space that we return to over and over again, a place where we can dive into our heart and re-emerge calmer, clearer, and more empowered every time. We explore creative ways to connect to spirit, to receive guidance, to enrich our inner life, and to expand our possibilities. We deepen the understanding of the different dimensions of the spirit world and how to interact with them to bring healing into a physical reality. We learn the fundamental principles and practices of shamanism, such as the dynamic and the flow of energy through the body, mind, and soul, for example. Transmutation tools for healing, for balance, for trauma relief. Rituals and ceremonies that are easy to perform at home or on your own, even outdoors. Communication with the spirit world. Drumming and singing. Nature-based practices. Visualization, dreams, astral projection and shamanic journey. Automatic writing, which is a more intuitive way of journaling. Poetry and storytelling. Ancestral healing and soul retrieval. Excuse me. And so how do we do all these things? With the help of tools and techniques from the shamanic tradition, which can support us on our embodiment journey. And if you have never experienced shamanism before, don't worry, because our shamanic classes are very gentle and accessible and inclusive, and often fun. Yeah, because we don't want to take ourselves too seriously. So we work in circle, we work in small groups and on our own. And you have home practices, so you can take your journey back into your everyday life. Because, working in circle, I think it's very important and it adds a lot of value to your spiritual practice. What I've experienced over and over again working with groups is that the energy of the circle is deeply nourishing and it supports the individual in taking the leap, in making the change, however small, although sometimes it's life-changing and deeply transformative. And I have seen miracles happen many times Because when we feel empowered and we really feel it in our bones, there's nothing that can get in our way of healing and manifesting our dreams. So, and the energy of the circle stays with you after the class. It inspires your personal practice, it nurtures your night dreams, and it takes you out of the door more often to be in nature. Now, the practices are universal, so whether you live in an urban environment or out in the bush, all these shamanic practices can be applied to any environment, wherever you are, to any geographical area, to any microclimate. So for the ones in the Northern Hemisphere, for example, the Embodiment Course takes place during the winter months. So the outdoor practices will be suitable for all weather. Other practices you'll also be able to do in the coziness of your home. And these are practices that are more introspective. So they're more dreamy in a way, and they bring you into a secret place of wonderment and enchantment to nurture your relationship with yourself and your relationship to spirit in your own way, in your own time. And these practices are also intimately woven and interconnected to the practices that Lisa and Caroline are going to offer you, because we're working together. And so we prepare the program and we're going to work with you, and all together we are going to make the most of all these incredible tools and knowledge, and make it relevant to your life. So you'll be able to flow and move from one discipline to the other, from one field of expertise to another, with great ease and flow, to embody at 360 degrees the journey that you're embarking on, the journey that you want to embark on for your own health and for your own well-being at 360 degrees, And I think that's it for me. I will pass the mic.
Thank you, Cinzia.
Thank you.
Yeah. And don't forget, we're taking questions in the chat. And I'm sure Caroline and Cinzia both may have sparked an interest in you. You may have a couple of questions for either of them. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So after I present, again, feel free to ask any questions of any of us specifically. Okay. I'm Lisa Knighton. I am the CEO of At Home Be Fit. It's my personal and private business. I'm a sole proprietor here in the state of New Mexico. I'm originally from Georgia in the southeast of the United States. And I had the beautiful fortune of about 10 years ago meeting Cinzia when she and I both were living in a small Mayan village in the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. So it's my great pleasure to work with Cinzia again and to work with Caroline now for the first time. Let me tell you something about something I've noticed. Have any of you noticed that having a strong, healthy body and mind challenges Western culture? It's radical. Taking care of your physical body, your bones, your health, your muscles, eating well, sleeping well, getting good nutrition, taking care of your spirit. It's subversive to the Western culture. The Western culture doesn't know how to treat someone who's feeling good and moving easy and listening to themselves, spending time in nature, taking time off. These are all subversive ideas. Western culture, again, doesn't know what to do with us who take care of ourselves. Someone who's actually physically present to everything that's going on within their body, someone who's embodied. This makes me think of the foundation of my spirituality, which is actually exercise and movement. Many, many years ago, riding my bicycle saved my life. And I can go into great detail about that when we are together in our one-on-one sessions once a month. But movement kept me from losing my mind, really. I believe that good quality exercise makes me feel better. And I propose that good quality exercise will make you feel better also. I'm feeling good, and I want you to feel good also. And here's something else. I delight in the idea of keeping my body and mind and spirit well. as a way to change the culture about how we speak about ourselves and how we treat ourselves as well. So when I take better care of myself, I present to the world someone who is more spiritually rounded, someone who's physically taking care of herself. And I think that's a great way to change the actual culture of the world. So again, it's a little subversive. My eyes are a little subversive, but isn't that what we want? We want to change the culture. We want more holistic approaches to how we work in the world, how our families are treated, how we treat ourselves. I think you might be interested also. That's why you're on this call today listening. By now, you probably guessed it. I'm your personal trainer. I'm your certified personal trainer. I'm your exercise educator, and I am your movement teacher. So, having said that, we need to stand up and do a little bit of movement. So, if you're sitting down, please stand up and join me. I have a little bit of a fascial exercise for you. And you may have been listening into the news. What exactly is fascial fitness? It's kind of complicated. It's always been there. And let's do a little exercise for that. I'm going to just take 1 second here to pin myself. So let's stand up. Now, if you are wearing shoes and you're comfortable going barefoot, which I hope you will be, please take your shoes off. Move your chair. And once you have your shoes off, look down at your feet. The reason I want you to look at your feet is because it's going to be a little easier for you to do what I'm going to have you do. So you're seeing your feet. See where they are in space. Notice, are you standing wide? Are you standing like this? Are you standing sort of together? Do you have a split stance? Notice. They're all valid ways of standing. I just want you to be present into how you're actually standing on the face of the earth. Now, you're barefoot. See if you can move your toes around. I sometimes tell folks, pretend you're playing a piano. Can you play the piano with your toes? Don't forget, you're also breathing. Playing the piano with your toes. So you're wiggling your toes around. We're actually working into creating more proprioception. You're telling yourself, oh, yeah, I know where I am in space. Yeah, I'm standing on my carpet, or I'm standing on my hardwood floor. I'm standing on my exercise mat. I know up here where I am in space. So get in touch with how that feels. The floor, you feel it under your feet. If you don't go barefoot a lot, this might be something a little different for you. All right. Now, we're going to do an exercise in fascial fitness. We're going to do something called bouncing, which is going to warm up the back line of fascia. The back line of fascia starts right here at the ball of your foot, goes all the way up over to your eyebrow line. So we're going to try a little fascial fitness exercise here. Now I'm going to change how you're standing. I want you to take your feet about the width of your hips. Think of your second toe. That's that little one right beside the big one. And line it up with these hip bones. Not this musculature, not this adipose that we carry, because adipose is a good thing. The bones. So line up that second toe. Tuck in your tummy, and we're going to bounce up and down on the heels. We're bouncing. This is an actual fascial exercise. Again, I told you that the fascia, the back line of fascia, starts at the ball of the foot, comes all the way up and over to the eyebrow line. Now, you may not feel it at the eyebrow line today, but we're creating a lot of glide right now. We're gliding that fascia, creating some juice in that fascia right now. We're also challenging balance. You might be getting a little bit more breathless. My breath is a little bit more quick. It's coming a little faster. But you may also be noticing, wow, I feel my calf muscles. Wow, I feel it behind my knees. Maybe you feel it into your hips. We're keeping bouncing. We're keeping going. This is your fascial exercise for today. You're also noticing where you are in space. And I know everyone's got a little heat in the calves right now. Just a few more seconds. few more seconds, and then pause. And if you've got space to move around, walk around a little bit and notice what you just did. You created some heat in the body. That's exercise. So my programs are going to be all types of movement. We're going to work on strength, muscle strength, bone strength. We're going to work on strength for the cardiovascular system, which includes the heart and the lungs and the nervous system. Most of you probably know how exercise these days is helping stave off dementia. I've got what I call anti-dementia exercises. We'll also talk about SMART goals, very similar to what Caroline was talking about. We'll also have SMART goals for our fitness. We talk about pelvic floor health in the course. I share how important posture is, and we talk a lot about exercises to create greater posture and awareness of posture. I do balance work. I do core strength, and core, as you probably know, is knees to nose. This is not the only core. Core muscles from the nose to the knees. And I've got exercises for all of this. We also talk about knee health. A lot of my clients come to me talking about how their knees are not quite what they want them to be. I've got wonderful exercises to create greater strength in the knees as well. I hope you'll consider joining us on this journey. The three of us have worked very hard to create a program that you will get great benefit from. Let me unpin my screen. And I believe, Caroline, you're going to share with us a little bit more about the program as well, the overview and our payments, our fees and things. Yes? All right.
Yep. Let's just unmute myself. That was great. I love that bouncing. And I just want to do your course, Lisa. There's so much that you said that was music to my ears. And Cinzia, yeah, it was gorgeous. I just, you just go into dream space listening to you, which is wonderful. So I am just going to put up a little screen share, and we'll just start at the beginning. If it will let me do that. Okay, sorry, just sometimes all the controls you need are over each other. So that's our lovely image, which just had, I don't know if you two have, Cinzia and Lisa, so many nice responses to the image, saying what a gorgeous image it is, and it really sums up a lot of what we're talking about on the course. An online journey to the fundamentals of wellness, spirituality, and vitality. And the course it's really 17 weeks. We have an introductory session on October the 31st, and then 16 live weekly sessions with each of us in rotation. So natural health, shamanic wisdom with Cinzia, natural health with me, shamanic wisdom with Cinzia, and transformational fitness with Lisa. And subversive, I love that. And then we have a monthly session with all of us. So there's basically a four-week rotation. And then the end date for the course is the 20th of February next year. All the sessions are on Tuesdays, 7 till 9 UK time. So we tried to choose a time that would fit in with the different time zones. The two Christmas and New Year sessions are actually on Thursdays because they just fall better with where Christmas and New Year's Day actually are. So Tuesdays, except the two Christmas and New Year sessions. And all the sessions will get recorded so that you can watch again. That means if you can't attend for some reason, you can watch again, and what we hope is, 80% attendance is what we're looking at, we'd encourage you to do, then at least it's recorded, for you to go back and pick up information that you missed, etc., and to go over things like the exercises, to redo a session. Numbers are limited, so with that helps us maintain a safe, supported space. And I just want to ask Cinzia to talk about that in a couple of minutes. I'll just talk about how it works. Each month it's the live class with each of us, home practices between classes, and then some of those are supported by pre-recorded content. Each month we've got this session with the three of us to sort of catch up and review what we've learned, bring together the threads of your experience, and to celebrate what we've been through in the month together. There's a private forum, and in that space, we encourage you to access additional resources, share experiences and inspirations with community, so that we are in this together. And the course, provides the tools for you to fully embody your potential on a physical, emotional, spiritual and creative levels. And I think you can hear that from all of us in terms of what each of us has to offer. Each month is based around one of the 4 pillars of embodiment. So emotion, strength, resilience and rooting. And we're weaving our practices together, 3 very different disciplines and 3 different characters, but weaving them together to support you together, through step by step in an organic and magical way. We're coming at it from each of the perspectives of our different disciplines, and the themes are connected by the narrative of your own story. So you'll find that your relationship to each of those pillars and each of the 3 different practices, is going to move at different pace to each other. But that's, the joy of our experience and sharing at the end of each month. Just before, between sessions and beyond the course, one of the things that we'll be working on is a vision board for next year. And there'll be special offers related to course content. You'll also be creating a health plan, so you've got this idea of home practices between the course, but also leading into how, the next year unfolds for you. Cinzia, do you want to say a little bit about the limited spaces and why we chose that?
Yes. Thank you, Caroline. So we put a limited number on the course simply because we really want to be there with you, to be able to see each other in the face and be able to hear your voice. There we go. And, we want you to be able to participate in an active way. So to be able to ask questions and get your answers in real time and, be in the conversation. So we want to keep the group a little intimate, so we can give you the attention that you deserve, and also so that you can feel part of the group. Because sometimes, personally, especially, I've attended courses that were incredible. At the same time, there wasn't a landing space for me to feel part of the community or bring up what I wanted to share, because there were too many people, and obviously the teacher couldn't let anybody speak or even be seen sometimes. So we really want to be on this journey together and create this safe, sacred space, and we want to do it together with you. So that's why we have decided to have a limited space on the course. And also there's lots of people. There's not that many of you on this call tonight, but at the same time we have almost 100 people that sign up to the event that haven't made it because of time zones, work commitments and so on, but they're going to receive the recording. So there might be more people interested in signing up than we actually have space for. So if the course is fully booked, if you decide to sign up and the course is fully booked, don't despair, don't give up, get in touch with us, and then we'll see what we can do. Okay? Thank you.
Thanks, Cinzia. That's great. I'm just going to just have a look at just screen share again from that same space. There we go. And let's just look at course fees. So what we're offering everybody who's signed up to this event is an exclusive early bird of 15% discount, and we've got prices there in both UK, 950 if you join in the next period of time. So we've got a limited period of time. It's till Saturday night, to get a 15% discount. And that's only for people who've signed up to this event. Outside of that, we've got a regular early bird offering of 10%, and that will be available until the 3rd of October. Course starts 4 weeks from that date on the 31st of October, and the full price is £1,100. So we've also got a course ambassadors offer. So if you sign up yourself and you bring a friend, you'll get 10% discount for each friend that you bring. And we've also talked about a payment plan by installments and making that available as well. So again, approach us individually with questions about that. I think that's all on prices. We're going to share after the event, obviously the recording and the sign up information, the sales page for this. And you should receive that a little bit later on tonight. And then, you know, by the end of the course, you can expect to know yourself better, enjoy life more fully, and have a clearer vision of the way forward. I'm just going to hand over to you, Lisa. And any questions, actually?
Yes, is there any questions in the chat? Let me open that.
No, any questions there's nothing in the chat, but
okay,
anyone who's got any questions, do you want to unmute?
Anyone?
It's always quite unmuting for a Zoom where you don't know anyone yet.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, did I have any questions? Oh, Lisa, actually, really good question. I wanted to ask you. I didn't actually show the end screen of I realized of my PowerPoint, so I'm just going to read out. Let me just find it. I'm just going to open mine because I realized there was an end screen on mine, a little about me, and that I didn't show, and it was what you'll need for a session with me, because I was thinking about what would I need to attend Lisa's, and I was pens, paper, highlights. I might recommend flower essences to help with concentration, focus, coming into abundance, tissue salts to support you in your journey, and obviously I'll explain what those are and how to use them. And I just wrote, be prepared to take notes when you do a session with me, and probably to want to go back to some of the detail and catch up on it. But Lisa, what would I bring to a class? What do I need?
Glad you brought that up. I actually, I have a little kit for people. I have an outline of a kit. I actually also have a little video that explains. It's a little 5-minute video that I did. But I'll tell you now, you need a foam roller, which if you're not quite sure what a foam roller is, I've got right over my shoulder. There are 3 red ones. They come in all different colors, but a foam roller, 3-foot-long foam roller. You also need a collection of hand weights, because one of my favorite things to do is teach strength training, teach how to move weights around functionally and in a very safe way. My safety is always one of my favorite go-tos on how to teach someone how to move properly. I also have something a little odd. Can I take just a minute to show my odd something? Yes. All right. Yes. It's called a door pull. It's actually very lightweight. It's not this. This is my ladder, and I have all my collections of what were called monster bands on my ladder. There's a collection of 3 bands. They're 41 inches long loops, and all my clients work with these. But to set them up, all you need to work with me is a door or some place to take your door pull, and I'll show you how to use it, your door pull around a pillar. Maybe a lot of folks here in the Southwest, we have portals. We have outdoor spaces with these beautiful columns, these wooden columns, and you can lasso your door pull to that column and exercise on your patio with these bands. And so it's a little different way of exercising. It's also incredibly fun. So the exercises we do in my cardio classes and in my strength training classes, we use something called a door pull. And it's, I'll grab it. Just 1 second. It's right here. It's something that is made in Brooklyn, New York in a little studio called Happy Sew. I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but let me just pull it out and show you. This is a door pull. This doubles as my ladder. So I use my ladder, but then you just take this little contraption that costs about $8 or $10. There's a little button you put in your door and you close it in your door, or you lasso this around a pillar or a column on your patio or in your living room, wherever you might. Folks here in the Southwest, we have all these beautiful columns in our homes. But you could just take this door pull, open up your door, close it, and there you have, with your band attached, a fun way to exercise. Cinzia has seen me do this when we were doing our retreats last year in Mexico, and people loved it. And so it's basically this. I know it's probably, you're thinking, how does this work? It works. Yeah, and a mat, and a sticky mat, and an openness to exercise and move your body and experience what the body can do and how lively you can make your body and juicy you can make your body. Yeah, thank you for asking.
Sounds great, actually. I was going to ask you, when I did online Pilates in lockdown, and I got, because I didn't have hand weights, I think I'd lent them to someone, or maybe I didn't use them and I gave them away. And I started using, it was like a jam jar with water in. So I had 2 jam jars the same size that were narrow enough to hold, and that would be okay to start off. Yeah,
you could. As a matter of fact, some folks start off. Yeah, some folks start off with little 8 ounce or 12 ounce cans of tomatoes or beans.
Yes, yeah.
Some people have these little plastic bottles.
Narrower, so yeah.
Or you can take a plastic bottle and put sand in it.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
Being creative. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've done sessions with you, Cinzia, myself, and I feel like I need to bring a pencil and a paper always to explore. But just that sort of willing presence of mind. Cinzia, do you want to add anything about sessions with you?
Yes, and thank you very much for demonstrating, Lisa. It was fun, and I was having a laugh. I was having a giggle because someone put in a comment here in the chat box that not in London, like, all these pillars and all these.
Oh, you have a door though, right? You have doors.
Yeah, but yes,
it's called a door pull. You
we're
put it in
lucky.
your door.
Yes. Okay.
Put it in your door.
So as for me, you will bring pen and paper because you want to take notes of mostly spirit messages and, insights that you have, but also, about the techniques and the practices and the tools that we explore. And also I suggest, especially, it's going to be winter for most of us, I always suggest to bring like a little blanket, because we're going to be dreaming. We're going to be in the dream space a lot, going inwards, traveling, in like astral travel and shamanic journey, really going in and going deep into all those magical places. So it's nice to be cozy. So I always say, bring a cup of hot tea or cacao, bring a blanket, make sure you're in a space where you can fully relax, and not be interrupted. And like Caroline says, all we need to bring really is our presence. Yeah, to be fully present is one of the fundamental pillars of communicating with ourselves, listening to ourselves, and eventually communicating with others, and being able to listen to the whispers from spirit. So very low tech and very low cost, I would say. Bring a cup of tea, pen and paper, and a blanket, and I'll take care of the rest. You don't have to have drums or anything, because I have everything we need. And so it's going to be fun. And this is a fully packed program. So you have 3 different practices in one place. I think it's amazing. When we first started preparing this course together, I was so inspired. Hey, there's Koa over there. Oh my God, hello.
I saw her too. Hi, Koa.
Oh my God. With your beautiful, beautiful belly there. So, so when we first started, preparing this program and creating this course, I was so inspired and excited, and we worked very well together. It's been flowing organically, and the energy is very beautiful. And it really feels like bringing together everything that we might need, you know. And yeah, but don't take my word for it. Come and experience it for yourself, I would say. So, and there's Janice over there. Hello, Janice. I couldn't see people before because I'm looking at the screen and making sure everything is working, and now I'm starting to see little videos with people I know. So hi.
I just wanted to add, you know, just as you were finishing there, Cinzia, well, first off, Cinzia and I have been spending some time together in London, but we started this course, you know, talking about this course in three different places, 3 different countries, and meeting on a regular basis. And one of the things that definitely I know I'll be sharing into the space as extras is recipes, you know, intentional recipes for balancing, you know, your hormones or balancing the nervous system. And Cinzia's cacao recipe definitely has to be added to that. Yeah. So when you said bring a cup of cacao, it's like, okay, well, let's give the recipe for that as part of the course, you know. And just as you were finishing talking, I was like, yeah, you know, we are brewing a meal here, you know, a really nutritional meal, because it has that wonderful, or in homeopathy we would call the 3-cornered stool, you know, that we are looking for a prescription for our clients that meets, you know, their mental, their emotional, and their physical needs. And we call that the 3-cornered stool, you know. And really what we're creating, a 3-cornered stool, is a 3-legged stool, which is, you know, perfect balance. 2 legs a little bit wobbly, 4 legs very, very stable. You know, maybe you don't want to move off the 4-legged square, but the 3-cornered stool, you know, 3-legged stool is very well balanced. So yeah, it feels like a nice recipe.
Beautiful, and thank you, Caroline, for for mentioning that number 3 as a number of stability, because in the Mayan tradition, in the Mayan cosmology, the ushkub, the grinding stone, where the Mayans grind the corn and the chili, it has 3 feet, because that is the number of stability, and that also is the number of unity, because it's about bringing together all aspects of life, science, art, and spirituality. And I feel that's what we're bringing to the picture here, because the 3 of us are very creative in many different ways, and we bring that creativity and that little bit of fairy dust, I would say, to our expertise, to our practice.
Always.
And yeah. And I also want to say to folks out there who are already shamanic practitioners or have a deep shamanic practice, that there is a lot to learn, and always, for all of us. But also my shamanic practice is mostly based on the Mayan and the Toltec, which is not always something that everybody is familiar with, and it's also universal, because I'm not Mayan myself. I'm European, I'm from Sardinia, and I also bring that unique root from my own culture. So yeah, and I was expecting lots of questions, and we haven't got any. So if anybody wants to ask anything, please come forward, unmute yourself, and yeah, we're here.
Otherwise, though, I think between us we've answered some of the things, because we've been listening to each other, and we were going to just close, weren't we, with a little blessing from the spirit realm.
Yes. So last
but before that, we'll email later tonight and share the recording, as we said, and the details about the special early bird.
Okay. So let's chance for a question. Anybody? Otherwise, we're gonna be closing space. Okay. Good. We
Lovely.
must have been very eloquent.
Oh, thanks both of you.
So let's close our eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. And be still. Because we have listened to many, many words. So now let's give our heart a little space before we go our way back to our life. So that we may feel the energy of this space a little longer. And give thanks to Spirit for bringing us together, for allowing us to offer what we have to offer and to explore new possibilities. So we give thanks to Spirit from all directions. And we send blessings to each and every one of you, to all your families and your communities. And we send blessings out into the world. May we all be at peace. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for coming. Much love. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Ruben is there.